What's going on, everybody? It's Q here from Retro Q Gaming, and granted, I've been doing this for several years now. I enjoy it. It's so much fun. I love doing it. I love streaming. I love commentating over different shows and showcases. I love hanging out with everyone in the stream chat, reading the comments, replying to comments, making the videos as well as much as you can when it comes to making the videos because let's face it, there's only so much work you can do in Sony Vegas before you lose your mind. But overall, for all these years, I've tried several different things, some of which I've ran with and modified, some of which have had decent results, some of which stuck, some of which didn't, some of which I just didn't really like and didn't really want to run with and all as well. So overall, it's been pretty good, and I can't really say I have any major regrets in any way, shape, or form. There's obviously the one or two little minor regrets. You edit a video, you finally render it, you put it up, and you review it, and then suddenly you just think, oh no, I should have said something like this there, or I could have put in this joke, or I could have put in this effect or picture or something like that. But hell, I've never put a massive amount of effort into this anyway. So I will say one thing. It dawned on me fairly recently, and it had come up once or twice over the last couple of months, we'll say, just for the sake of it anyway. And it's the only thing I could properly classify as something with any semblance of a regret. So, what am I talking about anyway? Well, as everyone, at least I hope everyone knows by now, JRPGs are my biggest genre, my favorite genre, my number one genre. You can look at my top 10 games video of all time, and I'm pretty sure everything except one game in there is a JRPG, without spoiling the whole thing for you. So, one of the also main reasons why I do everything on YouTube, I stream directly to YouTube instead of streaming somewhere else and then uploading and editing and whatnot and then putting it back onto YouTube. It makes it all easier for all the content to just be into one place. If someone wants to find something, it's right there. They know where it's going to be. They know what to look for, and that kind of deal. And one thing we're getting to it, guys. Trust me. The one thing that I kind of it's hit me once or twice before, but it really came up apparent again now while I'm playing Persona 4 Golden. Because let's face it, I love Persona 4 Golden. It's in one of my top 10 games of all time. Ooh, there's a slight spoiler for that video I was talking about. But what I really wanted to do at some point, or kind of originally, but I never pulled the trigger on it, was since the JRPGs are my favorite genre, I wanted them to all be there and all be available and kind of archived and whatnot on the channel. So, for example, someone could hear me talking about how much I love Persona 4 Golden, for example, and then they could start watching the P4G and just how much I love it on there and how I talk about how I feel about it, how it affects me and how I play it and whatnot. And I wanted to do it with multiple different games. And of course, it even hit me with a couple of other times where I missed out on opportunities like that. I believe it was in 2018 where I went and did my whole retro year again. And there were some good JRPGs on there I could have put in. Well, one of the more notable ones at the time, well, I suppose there were two games really, but one of the retro style ones, or well, it was only a few years old at that point, but Tokyo Mirage Sessions, that was on there on the Wii U before it was ported to Switch. So that could have been a good addition. And then there was the likes of Dragon Quest XI, again later that year. That could have been a was that later that year? I think so. A good addition. So it's one of those things where it just feels like a bit of a missed opportunity, and I still have plenty of time to do other stuff as well. Chrono Trigger, some Final Fantasy games. I mean, hell, I played Final Fantasy VI during, I think it was the start of this year, or maybe during the retro year, and that was another missed opportunity. Luckily, I did get the chance to put the OG Final Fantasy VII all up on here as well, which was a great, fantastic experience to be able to redo and put up on here for anyone to ever want to see that. And another one that just right off the top of my head, because it was pretty recent that I did miss out on, was also Xenoblade Chronicles Definitive Edition. Sure, the game, or at least that version port of the game, had some problems itself, but Xenoblade Chronicles, the base version of the game, is amazing. And it could have transferred over so well. Now, sure, some of it may not all be streamed. Some of it just might be recorded and put up at my own leisure and whatnot. But I just really feel like I could say that is the one sizable, if you will, regret that I've had, and a big missed opportunity. Will I rectify that going forward? I promise to try, but I can't promise I'll succeed.